Mind Crafters, and welcome to another Mind Craft discussion on this glorious day. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am so super pumped, stoked to talk about what it means to really feel good. And I'll tell you, this hat has me feeling really good, actually. My mother-in-law gave it to me, and I've had loads of compliments on my hat. It just says travel. Only thing is, all I did was travel in from the deck, actually, because it was a little bit drizzly, so I probably don't need that inside. So let's just talk about what really makes us feel good. And for me, we're talking. Well, I guess we should probably clear the air. What we're talking about, I think it's obvious. Maybe it isn't. We're talking about authentically feeling good. So we're not talking about chemicals. We're also not talking about the ego. We can feel really good after getting somebody's approval way out here, okay? And that's okay, but it's very fleeting and very temporary. But we're talking more about feeling good in our skin, feeling so good in our skin, feeling in alignment, feeling in the zone, feeling in alignment with the universe, source, call it whatever you want, but because that's the only way to, that's really the only way to live your highest vibe self, no matter what you call it, is to realize that divinity inside. That's just how it is. So to feel really good. So it's so important to pay attention to these good feels. I mean, this is how we know when the house is right. This is how we know when the partner is right. It doesn't even have to be on that scale. It can be, you know, you're on a vacation, you just kind of, you know, follow the green light and you end up in this fabulous conversation with this person you never met before. It doesn't have to be on the level of house and partner, but really listening to those authentic inner voices, because that is, yeah, that is, you know, that is our inner guidance, our inner compass system, right? So then Wayne talks about how basically guilt, let's just call it what it is. Basically, people can allow guilt to get in the way of truly feeling good. Now, guilt has a role, obviously. Guilt says, I made a mistake. So you did whatever transgression, you hurt somebody's feelings, you did this, and guilt's job is to, you know, prevent us as much as possible from hurting people, being unkind to other people. And of course, from small to big, and hopefully, you know, you take care of that and apologize and do the best you can to make amends if that's the best thing for the other person, right? But guilt, when it's held on to, becomes really counterproductive and unhealthy, and it can really even sort of wiggle its way all the way to toxic. So when Wayne is talking about, you know, us really trying to chase those authentic good feels, sometimes people will say, well, how can I feel good with all the bad stuff going on in the world? You know, people are starving here in this country, people are starving there in that country, and that country, and that country. You know, people have, you know, terminal illnesses, and how can I feel good when I've got a family member who's, you know, whatever. And he's very courageously says, because and it's so important to realize that you can't get sick enough to make that person who's terminally ill well. You just can't. In other words, we can do other things. We can pray if that's your thing, or send the good vibes if that's your thing, or do something super practical and maybe donate or volunteer, or you know, for whatever it is cause. I don't mean that particular example. But the just feeling guilty in and of itself and feeling badly to not allow yourself to feel good is a gigantic waste of emotion, and actually preventing all that goodness from flowing out of you to actually do something about anything. So we can't get sick enough to make someone well. We can't get poor enough to make somebody wealthy. And the same thing with starving. We can do lots of stuff, but the guilt thing is just a huge roadblock to any of it, because we are better off to ourselves and the world when we're in the zone and we're living our best life and feeling really, really good. It's just the truth. We can't give what we don't have, obviously. So by keeping ourselves filled up, we therefore, you know, are riding on our high-flying frisbee, and we are able to, you know, give with full generosity, and we're a much better place to do that. It's just the truth. And so, what else did I have here? Oh, okay. So then with that whole guilt thing, that's when Wayne says, you know, when you're starting to feel that guilt beating about whatever it is, it's poverty, it's starvation, and all those things are terrible, and we definitely have a responsibility to help. But although the guilt thing doesn't help, right? So he said, then is a great time to really do a thought check on yourself. Really do a super thought check. I'm starting to go down this rabbit hole of negativity. And here's the thing. Negativity attracts what? Okay, yes, more negativity. Sometimes people will say, misery loves company, right? Misery doesn't love company. That's a myth. Misery loves miserable company. So the negative Nellies that are basking in the news every day are just going to attract more of that. If you're basking in fear-based thinking, you're going to attract more fear-based thinking. If you're allowing self-doubt, you're going to attract more self-doubt. And it just keeps going and going and going and going. And personally, I like to go on a news fast. Does it mean to be ignorant and not know what's going on out there in the world? Absolutely not. You can find out, however, in the middle of the day in snippets. I definitely don't want to look at the news when I first wake up. No way. Because I'm getting my whole prime my day, all my gratitude stuff going, filling myself up and over the top. And also before going to bed is absolutely not a time to look at the news either. Somewhere in the middle, catch up. Personally, I like the Wall Street Journal because you can read the little squares on there. You can get a basic gist of what's going on in the world. And if you want to know, I'm in academia, so it's nice for me because I can just kind of, get the Reader's Digest, because to actually live there and reside there is not healthy, especially the bookends of the day, the beginning and the end. Just not a good idea for your unconscious mind. Because negative thoughts lead to negative emotions, which lead to negative experiences. So Wayne Dyer, and I'm also saying it too, you got to make the shift. So it doesn't mean don't know what's going on, but to shift out of it. Shift out of it, shift out of it. And maybe do a little gratitude thing, send some good vibes. If you pray, whatever, something like that. And shift back into this place of gratitude and the good feels. Shift back into, so sometimes people say, oh, it's toxic positivity. No, it isn't. We got to feel is to heal. It's important to feel how we feel. And then it's important to make a conscious choice to shift out of it. Because remember, we're of no good to anybody when we're going down the rabbit hole. And people don't often realize that when we're not feeling how we ideally want to feel, we're attracting more and more and more and more of it. So we've got to make the shift and get back into alignment, because otherwise we're going to stay stuck. And the more we allow ourselves to be stuck, the more stuck we get. I almost said stucker. I don't think that's a word. Anyway, the more stuck we get, think like quicksand. Like that's what it's kind of like. You just pulled under, like, ugh. So we got to kind of, grab for that rope or that tree branch while we can. While we can always grab the rope or the tree branch. But it's definitely easier, just like quicksand, when we're just starting to slide, when we're at the bottom, right? Obviously. So, any thoughts of, oh, I can't do it, or since when has this ever gone right, and all that with my luck? How do you know enough about your luck or anybody else's to guess that whatever it is wouldn't go right? You got to stop all that thinking, because it just leads to more and more and more and more and more. And so, we need to make this conscious shift, because in the end, we are the captains of our own ships. We are, what's another good one? We're the artists of our own canvas, and we don't want somebody else stealing the paintbrush. Even if it's not a somebody else, even if it's kind of the demons, for lack of a better word. I don't mean that like literally, right? But the negative thought train snatching that paintbrush from us and taking, from all these beautiful colors and all these things and all the next moves we got, along our journey, our authentic journey, and painting a big black squiggly over the top. No, we've got to realize that this is how it works, and there are only two choices here. Either we control our thoughts, or our thoughts control us. And I ask you, which is more pleasant? And this is exactly what I do with my mind crafters, because I explain to them, thoughts come first, feelings second, and actions or behavior third. So if you're allowing fear-based thinking, you're allowing self-doubt, you're allowing anxious thinking, you're going to feel fearful, you're going to feel anxious, you're going to feel doubtful about yourself, whatever. And that's going to lead to more negative experiences. So there you go. So what it means to truly feel good is to have a grip on your thoughts to begin with. Doesn't mean perfect. The P word is terrible unless we use the other one. Progress, not perfection. And here's the thing, is that once the switch is turned on and you're on the authentic journey, you're on the Minecraft, on the way to your Minecraft journey, your Minecraft lifestyle, you get the thoughts first, feelings second, actions, behavior third thing. Once that switch is turned on, it does not get turned off. You might get a little out of alignment, because we can't be in alignment 100% of the time, but we can certainly aim for it and spend as much time as we can being aligned with the universe, in the zone or source, or however, God, or however you want to say. And this, because this is when I'm looking at my faucet right now. It's this big, huge. I'm looking at that faucet right now. Once we're in the zone like that, connected, with that divine energy and in alignment, and in control of our thinking as much as possible. Again, raise the bar, set the bar, do your best with that. We're really in a very good place for the most part with our thoughts. Man, you will have the world by the ass. This is when all that meaning just flows like the faucet. The sense of purpose just flows, because that is when the green lights are just rolling. You know, with the next move, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. That person called me, call them back. It all just happens easily. And then if we bump up against a red light, our inner, guidance system says, no, not that way. Okay, got it, clear, like a neon sign in Vegas. Don't go that way. And then we are just following the good feels, the authentic good feels. Follow those green lights, the authentic good feels. And this is where we just keep building on that authentic success. It's like a faucet you can't shut off. Not that you'd want to, okay? So how do we know when we truly feel good? By when we are in alignment with our authentic self, which is, connected to the creator of all things. That's just how it works. Okay, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my living room because it's a little drizzly today. So have a mindful day.